Hey guys, Mike Lawson here, founder of the Social CEO Academy, and I'm waiting for my special guest to jump on here, and we're going to be talking about branding and why you guys really need to be branding yourself now more than ever. Do me a favor, let me know if you guys can hear me all right, if you can see me all right. Lou, thanks for jumping on, buddy. Hey, Albert. So, yeah, we are going to talk about a little touchy subject, but also the power of branding and why it's so important with social media. Why you need to be branding yourself. I think my stand here is a little, it's a little crooked. All right, here we go. There she is. I think I can bring you on. Okay, awesome. But there we go.
Hey,
Hey,
Taylor.
Taylor.
Okay.
Mike, I forgot my earphones. Are we echoing?
Uh-oh, I forgot mine too.
I don't think we
Hey,
echo
guys,
enough.
are we echoing? Can you let us know if we're echoing? I can hear an echo. I don't know if everyone else can.
I'm fine if you're fine, but I do have my earphones. I just forgot to snap them in.
You don't sound like you're echoing. I hear an echo.
You want me to put them in real fast?
Echo, yeah. Echo on me. I think you're all right, Sarah. I think I'm the echo.
Hold on.
Unprepared. You're absolutely right.
I got them.
Let's see if that helps because I don't have mine.
Is that better?
Well, you sounded fine. I think I was, yeah. So, okay. Is that better? Because I don't hear myself echoing anymore. Is that better, guys? I am. Am I still echoing, Michelle? Hey, Brenda. Well, let me know. So I don't want to, I'm still echoing, Taylor?
No.
I guess there's a little delay. Better? Okay, are we good to go? Give me a thumbs up. Are we good to go? If we're good to go, no echo. All right, we are good to go. All right, so guys, most of you know who Sarah Hall is. If you don't know who Sarah Hall is, let me just introduce her. She is a branding expert. We've met, it's probably been a couple of years now, and just connected. And, you know, when I started learning to brand myself and I started doing live videos and I sought out, you know, people that I wanted to learn how to do live videos. So I started, you know, searching people out and I came across Sarah and I was just like, I loved her personality. I loved her accent. I loved just her presence on camera. And I love the fact that, you know, she wasn't, listen, you guys know that I have a network marketing background and I get pitched all the time. I didn't even know she was in network marketing just because she was very, every time I watched her videos, I learned something. She was educational. She was always providing value. And I didn't even know that she was, I didn't even know she was selling anything because she didn't have an agenda. She wasn't looking just like when we connected. Usually when I connect with somebody, they want to pitch me right away. She didn't pitch me, and we just like became friends. So she's amazing. But I wanted to bring Sarah on for you guys because we have we have something else in common. And I don't know, you know, where however comfortable you feel, Sarah, getting into it. But
Right.
you guys know my story. I had two companies shut down on me within 7 months, and I did not brand myself. Um, I was always talking and promoting the company. I was a spam bot. I was an infomercial. I did everything wrong. And Sarah, unfortunately, just experienced something as well. And but I truly believe that because of what she has done over the last, well, I know for 100%, because what she has done over the last couple of years, branding herself. And Sarah, if you could talk a little bit about that, and I know some people thought you were crazy branding yourself and not talking about your company. But I believe, and I know 100%, because you did that and you branded yourself and you always offer a ton of value. You always offer great information. I've learned so much from you. I'm always reaching out to you, asking questions. Hey, is this healthy? And you're like, send me the ingredients. Can I eat this? I ask you even questions about, eyelashes for my daughter. By the way, I
Right.
didn't get your message. But anyway, maybe just talk a little bit about that, the importance of branding and how you became so good. And I know you have some tips for people that are looking to brand themselves. So I'll turn it over to you, Sarah.
Cool.
Thanks for joining.
Awesome. Well, now everybody gets to hear my accent.
Yes, y'all.
Yeah. And that's part of my brand. We're going to talk about that for a second. But man, I just have to talk back all the way to 2015 when it was my first experience in network marketing. I was a newbie. I was doing the same things that you're talking about because that's what the people before me were doing. Like, I think self-branding has just taken on its own realm in the last couple of years, and I was doing it in my company before people thought it was cool. And I wanted to go against the grain, and I thought, you know what? I want people to buy me before they buy any business, product, or service that I'm a part of. And at the end of the day, people follow people. And in a second, when we get to like what has happened in my last couple of weeks, I have some great positive things to say that have come out of it. But, I think when I first started my network marketing journey, I was just following what everybody else was doing, following the crowd. Everybody was posting their products. And so, back in 2015, that's what I did. And I ran really hard and I built a solid team and I loved what I was doing and it absolutely changed everything for me. But when I started doing live video and I started just teaching and educating and just being me, man, that's when I really started to make new friends and like draw in business partners and draw in customers and draw in people that wanted me to be their registered dietitian or join my team to make income. And I just started to see bigger pictures of, man, this isn't about this product, whatever it is. This isn't about my service, my one-on-one coaching. It's really about, do they see value in me? And I had to really start, kind of going against the grain because we weren't being taught that in my company. And people laughed at me when I was going live. And I'll never forget this one video that I did, Mike. It was one of my best videos. And it was about, what was the title? It was how to lose 5 pounds in 5 minutes. And I'm like a makeup queen, okay? That's what I like to do. So I mixed in like contour and highlight. Like, I can't see any comments, but ladies, if you're into like makeup, just drop us some makeup emojis down there. But that was one of my most popular videos. And that's when I started to think, okay, wait a minute. I'm doing makeup and I'm talking about some ways to lose weight. This is my brand. People know me by my lashes and my lipstick and my crazy looking nails. And this is what it is. And it has nothing to do with me being a registered dietitian, or it has nothing to do with me being a network marketer. It has to do with they are drawn into that part of me. Some people may not like my lashes and lipstick, but they're not my people. Okay, so when it comes to your brand,
I find that hard to believe. By the way.
I know everyone's kind of my people. I'm just like my friends are always like, how do you get people to just like follow you or do things? And I'm like, I don't know. It's this.
We got some lipstick emojis, by the way.
Oh, good. I can't see them. Dang it. But
Yeah.
I'll have to comment back after. But I think part of it, is just like being charismatic too. I did a success podcast yesterday all about being successful on Facebook, and that's the other thing that branding has brought me is people like you in my life that we can like network together and meet new people and just. I'm always about educating and teaching, and I think when I turned that leaf over and I started to think, I've got to teach people something. I've got to let people into my life. I've got to let them see the type of person I am, and they're going to follow you to the ends of earth, And that's when I moved away from posting products because it's not really about the product. It's about what you can do for them or the service that you have. It's about what you can do for them. And I just started studying it even when people were making fun of me. Even when people were saying, why are you going live talking about makeup? You're not in a makeup business. Well, you know how many views and shares and comments and likes I got on that and people that now love me?
Well, Sarah, maybe not even that. Let me ask you a question. Did you get any sales for your business that had nothing to do with makeup, but because they saw you, coach or teach or train on makeup and just being you and branding you, that turned into customers for your business?
Oh, absolutely. So my first year and a half in network marketing, I built all belly to belly. That's all I did. I was in home meetings and, there's probably a lot of women on here watching this and, I just had to decide that I'm a mom, I'm a wife. Like I couldn't be out running the streets and still run a clinic. And so it absolutely like turned my mind to think, okay, I can draw people in on Facebook. I can help people truly. And if they want to join me, they'll join me. And so when I started, I wasn't really looking at it like how many people will join me for this. I was just thinking about how much value can I add. If people want to follow me and do something that I'm doing, they're going to do it. And I look at the last year and a half, and every single, like maybe with the exception of 5 people, every single nutrition client that I have, one-on-one coaching nutrition client, all online or
Wow.
or from referrals. None of them are in my same city or state.
Wow.
Yeah, well, actually, let me take that back. I got one that's in my same state, but she found me online through a video, and she lives like
Wow.
3 hours from here. Every one of them. And like my business partners, I developed teams when other people were just developing teams locally. I can't even get to my teams all the time because they're all in other states. And one of my best friends, I'd shout her out, she's lost 100 pounds now, Nikki,
Wow.
found me from a live video that went viral in a group.
Wow.
17,000 views overnight, Mike. I woke up to that. And I
Believe it.
got Nikki, and we've become best of friends. She gets off the phone and we literally say, I love you. So when people tell me that you can't build relationships from video or from, like, we've never even met, but
Yeah.
you know, like, we have a great relationship, great friendship.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So yeah, I've absolutely got business partners and clients from Facebook.
So what would you say to somebody that says, well, I really don't want to, be jumping on social media. I don't really want to be branding myself. I want to do it the old fashioned way. I want to be just like, what would you say to them? Or because I don't think too many people would actually say that, but what if the company doesn't teach that? You know what I mean? And they don't teach branding and using social media, and they teach the copy and paste method. We're familiar with that because we get it all the time.
Right. It's annoying.
What would you say to the reps out there that really want to have success, but their upline maybe isn't teaching that?
Well, I would say number one, you're gonna have to do like I did and seek help. I wanted to bridge the gap. I've never been afraid to like invest in myself and my business, and I started to put myself in groups of people, and even joining like the Social CEO and going to networking events where this stuff was taught, because I knew that I wasn't gonna get it in my business. Like
Right.
it wasn't going to be taught to me organically. So I was willing to invest, and that's where people like you come in, or coaches and groups and course materials. I'm thinking through all the things that I did and learned from to build it, and I didn't care what anybody thought. Like, I thought to myself,
Do you believe that was money well spent?
oh my God. Yeah, I've probably quadrupled my investment. And like, I remember though, when I first got into business, I had a small mindset. I had a scarcity mindset, and just to see the changes that even just self-branding and live video and partnering with other people has brought out in me, like the leadership skills. And so investing can be like multiple benefits for you, because it's going to help you become that person that speaks stronger. Like the Sarah on live video 2 years ago is not this Sarah, and it was from learning and investing. And if you're not going to invest in your business, nobody's going to invest in you either. Like, if you're not learning and growing, you're not going to get business partners, and you're dang sure not going to get business partners that you really want, because you're not attracting them. So the investment has to be made.
Well, I love what you said, that you literally quadrupled probably your investment.
Yeah.
Do you believe that you would be where you're at today if you didn't invest in a coach or courses or learning this stuff? Do you believe that you would be this successful where you're at now if you just relied on the information you were provided from, let's say, your upline or the company? And I'm not downplaying the company or the
Right.
or the upline.
Right.
But do you believe that that was enough, or do you believe that you had a lot more success because you sought it out?
Absolutely. I mean, I just bridged the gap between where I was and where I wanted to be, and shortened the time span. And so that's what you guys have to think about. If you're on here and you're like, man, I really want to go harder, I really want to learn this branding thing, you can go alone and do it, but it's going to take you a heck of a lot longer. And for me,
Right.
I wasn't willing to give up that time over a money investment. I mean, think about all the things, and I'm the flashiest woman on earth. I spend money on lashes and nails and hair and stuff like that. But I'll be danged, if I had to stop doing that to invest in a coach to build my wealth, I would do it. And so you have to, You have to, but I'm not getting rid of these nails right now. But you've got to evaluate, where are you? Where do you want to go? And what are you willing to do to get there? And it just really shortened the time span for me to be able to have the success. And I just didn't care what anybody thought. People made fun of me. I made script books for my team. I made a script book for my team because other companies that use social marketing were doing that, and I got made fun of. And my team rocked it out because they had, what would Sarah say? That's what we called it. What would Sarah say?
Cherise says, "Hey girl, hey."
I love Cherise. Oh my God. Hey.
Hey Cherise.
Hey Cherise.
Yeah. So also, I always say that, if you're going from the East Coast to the West Coast, I'm in Philadelphia, and going to, Los Angeles. I mean, you can take a plane, get there a lot faster, or you can take a horse and buggy. I mean, why would you want to go through that pain?
Right.
When you can just jump on a plane? And I didn't even know that was going to rhyme, but it did. So anyway, so if you could give everyone maybe some tips. What about people that are afraid? They're afraid to go live. How can they still brand themselves? How can they get themselves out there and overcome that fear? Because I'm sure you've had some fear.
Oh yeah, I remember I was telling somebody yesterday when I was doing that podcast on Facebook, and I was saying I remember sitting in my floor, like literally going over a script for my live video and trying to push live and not doing it. And I'm like normally kind of an outgoing person, but it is kind of freaks you out. But I had to really say to myself, okay, it's just like any habit that can become a discipline, and you can get better at a skill. I mean, I grew up an athlete. I wasn't like the perfect athlete until I started developing the skill. And a lot of people don't know I'm a former athlete, but I am, and former tomboy. But what I'm saying is you have to do something once and twice and 10 times over and keep doing it. And you said this on a video the other day too, and I was like, holy smokes, you just got to do it forever. We were talking about, I think you were talking about live video or whatever. You just got to keep doing something, and if you don't get started, you won't know. But I would say right now what's really hot is Instagram and Facebook stories, and I feel like that they're less intimidating than a live video. And so if you're on here and you're like, how do I get started? Maybe go in and jump in your story, and you can even pre-record it and then post it. And I know we did a video on that, so if anybody wants to watch that video, Mike can maybe just put replay down in there and they can tag you, or you can tag them. But I feel like that's a less intimidating way if you want to get started, but you got to think, what can I teach today? And maybe guys, maybe you're on here and you learn something from this video, or you learn something from Mike's video, because I watch all his videos and I comment, okay? So I may go and say, oh my God, Mike Lawson taught me this today, and I want to teach you guys. But that can still be branding, and I think so many people overthink branding. Like, they overthink what they need to talk about, or they think they have to be an expert. And obviously I'm a registered dietitian. My team is in the nutrition industry, and they sometimes think, well, they got to be like Sarah. No, but they can take something Sarah said and go turn around and teach it. So maybe you just pop in your story once or twice a week and educate on something that you've learned. And it's okay to say, hey, I learned this week and I want to share it with you. So I feel like stories are a good way to really start showing up, but that's the biggest thing too. You got to show up, guys. When I started live video, I went live 5 days a week and I never missed it. And that's how I built my following. And now some of those people, I mean, Cherise is on here, and she is an amazing entrepreneur, mom, and she's one of my coaching clients. And I met her through social media, and we connect on things, So I would say probably just get started on stories instead of maybe live video if that's intimidating.
But I also really liked what you said, that you were just yourself, and you did it, because I know a lot of people, think to themselves, well, how am I going to keep coming up with content? So maybe you would do some nutritional stuff, but then you would also do like makeup. I think one of the first videos I ever saw of you was doing makeup. Yeah. And I remember thinking of my daughter, and I wanted to show her how you were doing your makeup, because she wanted to go to school to become a makeup artist, which she's finishing now. But I remember seeing that, and it had nothing to do with nutrition. Right. And like you say, you've gotten clients and customers from just being you and putting out good information.
Yeah, so I have to kind of shout out my friend Cassie, which but she taught me something called Fab Five. And, when I'm teaching my team about branding, I tell them, you're overthinking branding. Branding is not a logo. It's not a graphic. In fact, Facebook doesn't even like graphics. It's you and what people think of when they think of you. So just figuring out, what do people really think of when they think of Mike or Sarah? I've niched that down to the point where I know people think of nutrition expert, being a registered dietitian of 13 years, but they also think of entrepreneur, businesswoman, makeup, of course, lashes and lipstick, and they think of me being a mom because I show my kids all the time. And guys, you have to understand, that's all you, that's all your brand. And so when I'm talking about things, I never go outside of that brand. Like if I came on and like if I was talking about, let's think of something. If I was talking about like how to go to a car lot and pick a car and finance it, that I would be so uncomfortable talking about that. Like I don't do numbers. Like that's not my thing. And so I think people overthink branding, don't you, Mike? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Makeup's not my business, but it creates conversations and it creates people that like me and I like them, and we have mutual things in common.
Yeah. And conversations turn into, connections turn into conversations turn into, money for your business as well, because there's a way to obviously monetize it, but not going into it with that intent. You're naturally going to get people to say, hey, I love what I learned. You taught me this. Can you teach me more? I want to learn how to count macros and what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat. So do you have like your top 3 tips of like, what would you give somebody, what would you tell somebody today to do to start branding themselves?
I actually wrote 3 things down so I wouldn't like get to rambling, but that first thing was like, maybe polling your audience and saying like, and I was helping somebody this week with her brand because as we're all going through this transition, she was like, I really need to brand myself. I was like, you know what? I scroll your page and you already have a brand. And I told her, women empowerment, like strong woman, intermittent fasting is her thing. Like I told her what her brand was. She was like, oh wow, I already do have a brand. I was like, when I think of you, that's what I think of. And so I told her to go on her Instagram story or her Facebook. And you guys, if you're kind of like trying to figure out your brand, do this. Go and poll your audience and say, hey, what are some of the things that you think of when you think of me? And maybe ask for a couple of the top things, and your audience will tell you what they think of, and that's really where you need to go. But also, when I think of getting ready to brand yourself, what do you like to talk about? What do you feel comfortable talking about? What do you feel comfortable presenting on social media? And you said something earlier about something like along the lines of if someone was scared or nervous to get started, and everyone is, and even people in my team are, and I tell them, do you want a future? Do you want a business? Do you want to make more money? You're going to have to just get out there and do it, and you're going to have to get started. But that would be number 1, the figuring out your Fab 5. What are those 5 things you can rotate through the week? Have fun with it, but also educate and add value. Poll your audience and see what they think of when they think of Mike or Sarah or whatever. Number 2, and this is always for me, and this is how we connected, is like, I'm just me. The me that you see on video or in posts or in stories, that's the me you're going to get 24/7. Unless I'm asleep. That's the only time I'm not this extra. And it's just what it is.
Although I just saw you on your stories, looked like you were in bed. You just woke up. You were going to bed. You were sleeping, and you were still posting.
Well, I was trying to show that I actually do settle down once a day. I was trying
to settle down.
I know. I had just got off a training or something. But I was hanging out with my daughter, and I was like, this is mom life, But I wasn't fully asleep yet. But so add value and be a human first. And I never worried about who was going to be my client, who was going to join my business. I still don't worry about that today. I don't have a scarcity mindset. There's millions of people in the world, and they're either going to love you or not. They're going to join you or not. And so I feel like if you constantly show up, you stay consistent, you add value. And I like to use, this is going to go into the 3rd tip in a second, but I'll skip that for just 1 second because I want to say something else about this. But I never placed value on a product or a service. I know my one-on-one nutrition coaching gets results. I've helped people lose hundreds of pounds, but I never placed value on that. I placed value on the benefits and features of whatever it is I'm doing. And so I feel like you can never go wrong with teaching something and putting the value on you or even your people you're working with. Like, I'm always bragging on other people. I'm always shouting them out. And, people like that. It's genuine. So you got to be genuine. Be a human first and a marketer second. I think our good friend John Melton said that.
Yes.
But the 3rd thing is just show up and be consistent. And I've coined this hashtag teach, train, mentor, because that's what I do. I mean, I teach people about nutrition. I train people on macros, or I train people on how to crush social media or build a business. And I mentor all kinds of people, even when it's not paying me, because in the long run, it will pay you. It'll pay you
Right.
through referrals. It'll pay you through future business partners, and it'll just pay you through just feeling good about yourself that you've helped somebody. So I think that's, my third thing: show up, be consistent, get in the stories, and do live video. And do it when you don't want to. Do it when you're scared to do it. Just get on and talk about something, and you're gonna mess up. You're gonna mess up. And I look back on my old videos, and even my eyebrow game has gotten better. I'm like, okay. But those are my top three things, I would say, Mike.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Well, and I appreciate you sharing. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like when I went through and seeing what you're going through, what what just happened as well, and how devastating it is, but how you're handling it. And I believe it's because you branded yourself, and you're like, when I was going through it, like I literally went into, like, I wasn't depressed, but it was such a bad time. Like I literally went negative. I didn't believe in the industry anymore. More importantly, I didn't believe in myself. I mean, I had 2 companies shut down, but one's bad enough, right? But the bottom line is it's a loss. It's a loss of income. But I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't brand myself. I mean, I was an infomercial. And I just think that, yeah, I can't imagine if I did. And I can see why you're so happy. So just in closing, if anyone has any questions, they want to ask any questions, we'll just, open it up for a quick Q&A. If you guys have any questions to ask Sarah or myself. But again, she is, an absolute rock star when it comes to branding, when it comes to, being a registered dietitian, knowing about food, and has helped me tremendously. So how can people find you that are still on here watching or watch on the replay?
Well, obviously you can hop over to my Facebook. I think you tagged me in this. I do have a free community. I think we've grown to almost 1,800 members. You're in there, Mike.
Wow.
I did a training video last night on dysfunctional eating, and everyone loved it. On Instagram, it is official Sarah Hall. Sarah with an H. And then I have a website if somebody wants to just go check out my blog. I do a lot of writing. I found through the last 3 years that, being in business has developed my writing skills and my speaking skills. So I have a free blog that you can go and access, and it's just Sarah with an H, sarahdhall.com, and my blog is on there. I did want to touch 1 second on what you said about the company closing down and things like that, because this was my first little stint in network marketing, and being a registered dietitian and having a clinic, it was a big deal for me to say yes to something like that. Had to start putting myself out there, how to learn and grow, and man, I've met so many amazing people. And with the changes in the compensation plan, the company was kind of different with you. It completely shut down. Ours just changed, and a lot of people are kind of freaking out about that. But I don't know, with my whole branding thing and just knowing I have so many contacts in the industry, and I do have my nutrition business as well, and I just knew that because of people buying me, number one, my whole team is still with me. My whole team. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, because they bought into me.
That says a lot about you as a leader.
Well, thank you.
Because I know some of the people in your company that, listen, it is what it is. It happened to me too. People jump ship. People get scared. I get it.
Right.
You lose income and you want to make it up. So people start to make irrational choices.
Right.
Because out of emotions. But again, I think why you're so calm, cool, and collected, it's because you branded yourself, and you were smart. You were, it's almost like having an insurance policy.
Yeah, and I just have been at peace with it, and I think, well, this was a stepping stone to what's next, and we aren't making any hasty decisions, and I'm thankful for my coaching business, and I'm thankful for my team for trusting us, and when we find a home, we find a home, and we're all going to be doing it together, and it's because my team bought into me, and it's been nice to teach them self-branding too, so they aren't freaking out,
Yeah, absolutely. So in closing, what would you tell somebody that they're always talking and always promoting their company, their products, when you see their posts? And I think just some people just don't know what they don't know.
Right.
But what advice would you give somebody? Because listen, the reality is unless you're the owner of the company, you don't own it. And they can make a decision at any time, and don't think that it can't happen to your company. It happened to me twice. It happened to Sarah. And we're talking about companies that have been around like for a long time. So don't, and I'm not here to scare anybody, but I think it's smart to brand yourself as an entrepreneur. It's smart. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. So what would you say to somebody that is just maybe new and they're just constantly posting about their company and their products?
Well, number one, I would say to seek out education on how to really do this the right way, because people will unfollow you. Like, nobody comes to Facebook. This is supposed, Mark Zuckerberg wants this to be a community. He wants this to be people that are actually connecting and being in groups, and nobody wants to come to Facebook or even Instagram to be sold a product and constantly seeing your product and your, always selling on your page, and you're going to get unfollowed, guys. So if you're new and you just don't know, it's okay. I was new once and I just didn't know either, but you got to become educated. So I would say number one, seek out, like somebody like Mike to be able to coach you and help you, or just watch his live videos for a little while. When I started self-branding, I just watched as many videos here on Facebook and YouTube as I could to learn about self-branding before I invested, before I became members of communities, But you're going to have to find someone that you trust, someone like Mike that I love his videos. I watch them all the time. But I would say that number one, get educated, because if you keep posting products, you're going to be in the same position, And I would go through and I would honestly delete products and things like that, for pictures from your page, and clean up your page a little bit. And Mike can probably help you do that. I mean, he's helped me do some of that.
Absolutely. So Sarah, here's a question from Taylor. Taylor says, how much is too much? Is there a safe amount to sprinkle in?
I think if you're talking about a product, now I don't know, Taylor, what do? You can drop it down there and
it's a product.
Okay.
It's a product.
So to me, products go over better in the story. You're hearing my dog Cookie probably barking over here. She's part of my brand too, by the way. Cookie is part of my brand. But I would say products go better in the story, and maybe 1 or 2 times a week, but you using the product, not just a picture of the product, but if it's like I have my favorite energy drink every day and I'm showing a boomerang of me shaking it up, people like that better than just, oh, here's this box of whatever it is, But products for me never, ever, ever go on my Facebook wall, ever, or on my Instagram wall. Plus, think about.
And why, Sarah? Why wouldn't you do that?
Well, for me, if I'm looking at a box and it just says a product, I'm like, what is this? What does it do? How's it going to benefit me? What has it done for you, Mike? If you're posting your box, what is this? I'm confused, And how many times do you see other products posted on Instagram, or Facebook? So they don't know why your product is any better. And I'll tell you why your product is better, because it's attached to you, Taylor. You got to be the person that's attached to the product, because see, people can go anywhere and buy a product. I was having this conversation with somebody else today. Since I am a dietitian, I have a clinic, and I was having a conversation they were like, well, I can go in GNC and just buy whatever I want, whatever protein powder I want. Yeah, but you may not get help. So Taylor, if you have a product, you're the person that comes along with the product. And I've always told people, this is my favorite product, but the best part you get, and this may sound conceited, I don't know, the best part you get is Sarah is attached to that product. And I'm going to help you, and I'm going to coach you. But
love it.
I feel like no more than once or twice a week, and I would do products on stories, and I would focus on education and video on Facebook walls. And I used to post 3 times a day. I post once a day a value post, and I nurture that post all day now on Facebook. And it may be a live video or it may be a text post. But I would save those products, Taylor, for the story, and do some polls or something around the product, but don't do it more than once or twice a week. That's my opinion. That's what's worked for me.
But keep them in stories.
Yeah, I would never, because you know what? Facebook is kicking that stuff off. If it looks salesy, if it looks like a product, if it looks spammy, you're not even showing up in people's feeds anymore. You got to be a human now, okay? You got to make conversation and connection. And
great point.
Yeah, so I would keep that in stories.
Great point. Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate your time. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share, unless there's any other questions that pop up, but I do have a question for you that you are not prepared for, but I'm going to put you on the spot here.
I'm good at being on the spot. It's okay.
Well, we'll see. Let's see. Let's have a little bit of fun here. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Superpower?
Did I stump you? superpower. If you could have any superpower. I don't
Oh
know,
my
fly, be invincible.
Well, I wouldn't fly because I hate space. Like, you know, the thing that comes on in the very beginning of the movie with their horses like running through the space. I can't stand that. Oh my
Okay,
God.
so you wouldn't fly.
I think that I would want to, you know, you heard that movie, What Women Want? I think that's what it is. I would want to hear what other people say in conversation, but they don't know I'm hearing them, but I just would want to.
You can hear. Okay.
Sometimes I think, man, like if I could just know what that person's thinking, you know, like I could just like tailor the conversation to what they're really thinking. So maybe if I had a superpower, it would be like knowing what you're thinking in your head.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't know if that'd be a good thing.
Am
or
I
bad.